In this video we'll talk about how you can add disclosure buttons to a control bar. So a disclosure button is like a standard button, excepting that its purpose is to display a pop-up of some type. The pop-up could be an HTML window that you define the HTML for yourself, or the pop-up could be another layout in the control bar definition. So you can see here in this particular case here we have a control bar with a single disclosure button, and when I tap this button over here I get my disclosure showing, and the disclosure in this case is another control bar layout that happens to have 4 buttons on it. Now as soon as I make a selection from this disclosure over here, you can see that the action for that button fires and then the disclosure closes. So if I open up the disclosure again and click anywhere off the disclosure, again the disclosure is going to close automatically. So in this case the disclosure has been set to display underneath this control bar, and also basically I've got animation turned on so that when the disclosure is displayed there's a certain amount of animation taking place, and also I've defined this disclosure as another control bar layout as opposed to some custom HTML. So let's take a look now at how this was defined. So first of all we'll go to our control bar properties, and we can see that we've defined an item called disclosure button, and then we've defined 4 additional buttons called action 1 through action 4. Then if we go to control bar layout, we can see that we have 2 layouts here. We have our first layout called main, and this layout has the disclosure button in the after section, so there's our disclosure button over there. And our second layout, which we've called submenu, has the 4 buttons that we defined, buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, all in the before section of the screen. Now basically if we wanted to put some separation between these buttons we could go here and choose the separator control, but we'll just have the buttons one after the other. So basically then we'll go back to items now and look at how this disclosure button was defined. So when you define a disclosure button you need to specify what the name is of the disclosure that you want to display. So in this case the only choice that we have is this layout called submenu. So the choices that this pop-up window shows include all of the layouts that you've defined and also all of the disclosures that you've defined. So in a subsequent video we'll show how you can create disclosures whereby you specify your own HTML to display in the disclosure, but in this case we're going to keep it simple and we're going to use our disclosure. We're going to use another layout in the disclosure. So then the next option here that's important is the display type. So you can see that right now the display type is set to extend. So if you look here you'll see that there are many different display types, and extend is basically designed to extend the current control bar, and depending on the edge that the control bar is docked to. If the control bar is docked to the top, then extend is going to extend the bottom edge of the control bar. If the control bar was docked to the bottom, then extend will extend the top edge of the control bar. So extend basically extends an edge of the control bar. So let's go ahead and quickly run this again now, and we can see that here's our control bar, and if we extend the bottom of the control bar we get to see this other control bar over there. But let's go now and choose a different type, and let's go now say and choose screen bottom. So now when we go and we run this component and we click on the disclosure button, you can see that the second control bar, the disclosure layout, is displayed at the bottom of the screen. So disclosures are a very powerful feature in control bars that allow you to prompt for additional information or display pop-up windows, etc. And the types of content that you can display in a disclosure can be either other layouts, or they can also basically be arbitrary HTML, including UX component controls like lists and buttons and input controls. Thanks very much for watching. This video is an addendum to the video in which we showed how you add a disclosure button to a control bar And what we're going to show over here is one of the more unusual disclosure types. So you can see now when we tap on the disclosure button right now, the disclosure in this case is being displayed as a vertical control bar layout that is coming in from the right hand side of the screen. So let's go look at how this was defined. So we'll go back to our control bar here, and everything is the same as we showed in the previous videos. The only change that we've made is we've changed the display type here to outside after. So let's look at the description of outside before, because there's some more description there. And basically what the outside option, outside before and outside after, do is they display the disclosure perpendicular to the control bar that invoked it. So the control bar that invoked this disclosure was laid out horizontally, and therefore this disclosure will be displayed perpendicular to that, which means it'll be displayed vertically. Outside before means that the disclosure is going to come in from the left hand side, because the control bar, the parent control bar is horizontal. Now if the parent control bar was vertical, in other words if it had been docked to the left or the right, then outside before would basically mean that the disclosure would be horizontal and it would be at the top of the screen, whereas outside after would be at the bottom of the screen. So the outside option for the disclosure position creates some very interesting options for displaying disclosures. Thanks very much.